Well, hello everybody. I am JayLeonardJ, and today I'm going to tell you exactly why you need this tiny little box. This little box in my hand right here is the Two-Note Engineering Torpedo C.A.B. At its heart, it's kind of an impulse response loader thing, but it does, wow, a whole lot of stuff. And I've had it for about maybe 2 weeks. And in that time, it has become an indispensable part of my rig. It's changed the way of recording audio. It's changed my approach to live audio sound and how I'm getting my tones when I'm traveling and everything like that. Just incredible, incredible stuff. I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. Just pretty much a fixture in my gig bag from this point on. What I want to do today in this video is I'm going to, one, kind of give you an idea of what this thing does, what it's capable of, but more importantly, give you 5 reasons and ways you can make this thing improve your tone in ways you probably never thought possible. And I'm going to do it with a Fender Telecaster with Virgil Arlo pickups and Stringjoy strings. And hopefully within these 5 different subjects, I might give people that have this pedal an idea that they've probably never thought of, or for people that have always been intimidated by the idea of impulse responses, maybe the courage to give it a shot. So let's get to work. All right, so before we dig into my top 5, if you do have this unit already and you're just here to get some tips and cool ideas on how to use this thing, I do have chapters for all 5 sounds, so you can skip around this video to your heart's content. For everyone else, let's dig in. The first thing I really love about this box is you get consistent amp tone no matter where you are and what is going on. My tone at home is the same tone in rehearsal, which is on the same tone, which is I'm on the stage, or I'm in the recording studio, or I'm in the basement of a hospital. It doesn't matter. I'm no longer at the mercy of a sound guy with a bad selection of mics, or maybe just a sound guy that didn't have time to mic my amp correctly. My tone is always going to be the way I want it to sound like. And this is what I want it to sound like. This is a deluxe 1965 amp, and this is what the C.A.B. amp sounds like. Oh, doesn't that sound nice? Awesome. My amp is actually at like 7, and if it was normally set up, this thing would be blazing loud, but I'm having completely silent operation. My amp is quiet. I'm just hearing it out of these tiny little earbuds. The way you could set up your amp for silent operation is by using a reactive load box. I go from my amp into the captor, which is my lovely reactive load box, into my C.A.B. Now, when I'm on stage, I actually do it a little bit different. I actually go straight from my amp into the C.A.B. into my speaker. And that way, when I'm on stage, I hear my actual amp tone the way I'm used to hearing it, and what the sound guy gets is the sound of the C.A.B. so I don't have to worry about miking my C.A.B., and it always sounds better that way, and it really does. Let's go dig into the way you could edit this thing. You could use the two knobs on the box, which is actually very intuitive, but today I'm actually just going to use the app because look how pretty it is, and you know, it's YouTube and the internet, so it looks better on film. I choose my cabinet over here. I chose the Cannabis 112, which is a Cannabis Rex, and the reason why I chose it is because it's the same in my Deluxe. Oh, and the way I'm able to get that tone is I'm using Royer 121 kind of microphone for my low end. I have it up pretty high in my fullness. And then I add a little bit of a 421 sound for a little brightness, just to help it punch through. You'll notice I could choose the distance from my microphone over here, and I could also choose the axis where I want it in the space. Very, very, very handy to dial in. I could even put the microphone in the back of the amp if I wanted to as well, just by pressing that button. Isn't that cool? Oh, super neat. I have an EQ over here. I pretty much keep it flat, but you can just dip a little bit of 120 if you want to clear up the low end a little bit. I'll rather just do that in post, to be honest with you. And finally, you get this really cool reverb here. If you just want a little bit of a room sound, you could choose one of the smaller rooms. If you want something more colored, you could use like a basement or a loft setting. Here's the cathedral. This sounds just really nice and ethereal. Awesome. Well, here's a cool idea for all you New York City subway riders over here. Most of the time we can't bring the big amp to the venue, and there's something about the sound of a 412 cab, the thump and the power and the fullness that you really can't get with like a 112 combo, which has that nice open airiness and that nice kind of atmospheric texture. What I like to do sometimes is I'll bring my normal amp and I'll mic it. In this case, I'm using an E906 microphone, and I'll use that to get the nice open back sound. But then I'll also run at the same time the C.A.B. and the C.A.B. I have dialed into big 412 sound. And when you blend the two sounds together, the sound of my 112 cab open back and the sound of my 412 closed back C.A.B., oh man, that's power. Okay, well, it's a pretty common situation when you walk into a gig and the amp that they have on site, or maybe it's a festival, the backline amp just really, really sucks. Maybe there's a broken tube, it's fallen apart, it just doesn't sound good, you can't dial it in. Or maybe the amp you brought just isn't working because it's just in a bad mood or mad at you or something. One thing that the C.A.B. can do is it could turn one of your overdrive pedals into a really nice sounding amp. Right now I have a Benson preamp, which I usually use as just a gain box. I'm plugging it into the C.A.B. and what I did is I actually just activated this little thing over here. I'm just going for a little push-pull EL34 kind of sound over here, and with just a little bit of EQ, I got a really, really nice kind of, I don't know, tweedy sounding amp. I'm using a little Voxy kind of amp thing and just one ribbon microphone, and check out what this sounds like. everybody loves the sound of stereo delays, reverbs, and modulations and everything. Just thick and lovely, but I am way too lazy to carry 2 amps with me to the gig. So what I like to do is I like to use the C.A.B in conjunction with my normal amp to create kind of a stereo guitar amp setup, and I'll show you exactly how I do it. I use the C.A.B in conjunction with the Latency to create kind of a separate amplifier. I like the Latency because it has a drive-through which bypasses the preamp. So my guitar goes into the Latency, the drive-through goes into my Nemesis delay, which goes into my deluxe amp, and then the Latency signal goes out into the other side of the Nemesis, which goes into my C.A.B. The cabinet I'm using for this one is the Blonde 63, and I have the little KT88 power amp going with it. Just a dynamic 57 on it, slightly off axis. And I think when you mix the two together, you can create some fantastic stereo sounds with little hassle. And the beauty of it too is I don't have to change anything if I want to go mono. If I want to go through the C.A.B, I just keep everything and not plug in the amp. If I want to just use the amp, I don't have to plug in the C.A.B. Awesome. The last little perk about this pedal is it really just offers incredibly good low latency, real-time impulse response monitoring. Up until now, you can get a small impulse response loader, but it's not really going to do much and doesn't have a lot of power to it. You can get a really big one, but it's quite impractical, but it will have all the features. Or you can use your laptop, which has a lot of latency and a lot of other issues, battery and crashing and everything like that. This thing is pretty much just all the features you want and just incredibly portable. And in terms of latency, it goes from about 4.8 milliseconds, which is about the length of a high-end Shure wireless digital unit, all the way down to a minuscule 2.2 milliseconds. So really, this thing is just awesome. Well, that's it. That is the demo. Thank you all so much for watching. Please keep commenting. Please keep subscribing, ring the bell icon. Trust me, it goes a long way. Makes it so easy for me to get access to stuff like this and make these videos for you. Just fantastic. My question for all of the people out there is, do you see something like this changing the way you approach sound? Are you a traditionalist? You like doing things the old school way? Or you thinking about trying to do the modern thing and playing with the little bit of the digital technology we have at our fingertips? So write in the comments section below. That being said, I will see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.